Hey everyone, I'm Rod Johnston, and this is going to be my Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 1 review. So, we've waited a long time for this, and we are finally here. This is the end of Game of Thrones. We have 7 episodes left, and now 6 after tonight. So, we're going to go through the opening episode of Season 8 and kind of go over some of the stuff real quick and talk about it, and hope you enjoy. And if you do enjoy the video, please hit the subscribe button. So, okay, let's get into this. So, first off, we have just the basic continuation of everything that happened at the end of last season. We have Jon and Dany doing their thing. They're making their way up to Winterfell. They are showing off their dragons, showing off their army, getting ready to defend the north. Everyone's kind of pissed. Sansa's mad. Arya's kind of like, eh. The North doesn't trust Dany because they don't know her. This is a. I watched this episode tonight and go, spoiler, and this isn't a spoiler, but I am 99% sure by the end of the season, Dany is going to get a sword through her heart by Jon Snow. So as they're already hinting at it. There are myths and legends from the Game of Thrones universe that kind of point to this also. And they've already started pointing it out. They're making Dany kind of end up being the Mad Targaryen individual that is going to murder people that shouldn't be murdered, that is going to do whatever she thinks is right, even when it isn't right. Anyways, Jon and Dany are falling more and more in love. They're running around, running dragons together. They're just generally getting prepared for what is coming. There's some cool scenes in this episode with Jon, particularly dealing with Arya in like where she's like, "How did you survive a dagger to the heart?" And then Jon goes, "I didn't." So going back to the Jon died, was raised by the Red God kind of context. It really kind of cool moment. Like, I actually think one of the better moments of the entire episode. Real quick, can we talk about how cool those furs are, both Jon and Dany wearing? They're just like really dope. I think they did a really good job of making these two seem kind of regal, like especially when everyone in the north is like bearing out to like survive the winter. The episode is as usual did a really good job of like showing off all these characters in their complete environment and making them what they are. The dragon scene where Jon goes off and rides a dragon with Dany. Dany's trying to get Jon to like prove himself to her. I think is kind of what it seems like in the episode, at least. And Dany's like telling Jon to ride it, and he goes, "What if he doesn't want me to?" And she goes, "Well, then it was nice knowing you." So you're out of luck, dude, if you can't ride this dragon. And guess what? This queen of dragons isn't gonna marry a dude who can't ride dragons. So that was really kind of interesting, and I approved of it. It's a cool moment because it if you go back into the Game of Thrones universe, like it was like a big honor to ride dragons. Like the Targaryens who owned dragons and rode dragons were revered. They were the biggest individuals in the society. So this is kind of a moment showing that Jon is like more than just this bastard. And at this point in the episode, he still doesn't know that he is truly a Targaryen. So Jon and Dany are going off and do their thing. They're trying to prove their honor and everything to everyone. Trying to prove to the North that Dany's worth being queen. And at this time, Dany's also going around and doing some other things. She's trying to be a queen, it kind of seems like. And at some point she goes because Samuel Tarly was like the one who helped who actually cured Jorah of his grayscale. So I don't know when when Samuel ended up back at Winterfell, but now he's at Winterfell. And Dany finds Samuel and she's like, "Hey, dude, I want to thank you. What do you want? Because like you saved my dude Jor here, and he's like, oh no, I'm cool. Except can you like not let him do like forgive me for my crimes? What crimes? Well, I stole some money from the what do you call him? The Citadel. Oh, he left. That's what it was. He left the Citadel. Okay, I forgot about that. But anyways, I stole some money from the Citadel. Also, I stole my family's sword. Can you like pardon me for this stuff? And she's like, oh, cool, but like, your dad was this dude that I just fried with the dragon. Oh, and what about my brother? Oh, so Danny fried both of Sam's dad and father at the end of the last season because they wouldn't bow knee to her, which is really kind of the starting of that road where it's, yeah, this is gonna end up badly for her. It's the whole, it's the line from the show. This is if you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. It's a recurring theme, man. Everyone in Game of Thrones is more likely to die and or suffer than to live happily ever after. So this happened, and it's it's not going to be a good thing for Danny. If this episode is any indication, like I said, it's going to be John killing Danny at some point and taking his righteous place in the throne. It makes sense also because Danny can't ever have children, and John needs to have more Targaryen children at that point. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be an interesting ending for that. We're sitting here, and now Sansa's kind of taken over, and Sansa's one of actually the most interesting characters in the entire show of Game of Thrones because she's gone through more growth than almost any character. She started off as a little bratty girl who went through the harshest of realities of, probably of any other character, and even though she was always, like in Winterfell or in King's Landing, but she was with the most sadistic people the entire show. She's been around the most evil people. So she's sitting there in Winterfell trying to calm everybody down, trying to get them on Jon's side, even though she's like, I don't trust this Danny person either. She is doing what she's doing. She's trying to be the leader. She's kind of been groomed into over the years on the show. So it's really good to see her out there doing what she's doing. I think she's going to end up being, a pretty key part of this next couple episodes because she's holding the North together while Jon and Danny are out fighting. So it's going to be really, really cruel key to what happens here is Sansa holding down the fort. And I want to talk real quick before, I didn't even think about this, but so Samuel is in one of the most important, if not the most important scenes of the entire Game of Thrones universe. This episode is him explaining to Jon that he is a Targaryen. It's all the prophecies in Game of Thrones and ice and fire and all these things. And so Jon, knowing he is the Targaryen born heir, it means everything in all these prophecies. And prophecies are everything in Game of Thrones. They are what kind of hold the universe together. So Sam is kind of like the most important character in this entire episode just because he's unveiling this to Jon. He's doing this, and he figured this stuff out with Stark, little Stark. What's his name? Bran Stark. And he is doing this with the three-eyed raven kind of powers that Bran has, but he's the one to actually go and tell Jon, hey dude, you're a Targaryen, you're going to be a king. And he's also pointing out the fact that Jon wouldn't have killed all those people. Jon wouldn't have that Danny killed because they wouldn't need her. So his role is super important in this episode. He kind of holds the key that's probably going to be the end of the unveil this is Jon's place to take over, and this is Jon's role. I'm kind of curious that we're going to have him go oh, my name's Jon, and I think they said his name is Aegon Targaryen. So which is, you go back into the hundreds of years, there's books with all the characters that happened before, like the regular Game of Thrones characters, and you're just like, there's a lot of Targaryen names. So this episode's really, really it was really, really good setting everything up, and it was setting up the entire season and what's going to happen, and all the sections with King's Landing happening and what is going to be going on there. The Theon kind of redeeming himself, like in going off to save his sister. It's all these characters that have like gone through so much and gone through dips and peaks of their character development are kind of showing up and showing who they truly are now. It's going to mean a lot here at the end when we finally get all these characters, like, you know, Cersei was being Cersei this episode. Everyone was being exactly who they had, you know, kind of been all along, but in more important ways. And these characters are going to they have 6 more episodes to kind of play these out and the roles out. It's going to be key. There's going to be a lot of characters dying here. Like I said, I'm pretty sure at this point, Jon's going to end up killing Dany, and it's going to be a pretty gut-wrenching thing. Like, when Jon figured out he was the chosen one, the Targaryen heir tonight, it was pretty like, holy crap kind of thing. So I just want to say that this episode was great. I really did enjoy it. I loved all the actors. It's just rewarding to see the growth of these characters and these actors. You're seeing how much they've grown in both aspects, in real life and in the show. So I'm going to be reviewing these episodes the next 6 weeks until we wrap up. So if you did like this video, please hit the subscribe button, and I will be recording these on Sunday nights. So thanks for tuning in, everyone, and I will catch everybody later.